say no, or just say ah. Oh.
Can you say brown? Brown. Gilmore. One. Touch it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We are the Hollywood Paranormal Detectives.
And we are Unexplained Cases Live. Welcome to another edition. We got, as usual, Darren Dito, our anchor and lead reporter, Maryam, the medium, myself, Rick Garner, executive producer, and welcome, Mr. Stephen Adkins from Hollywood Paranormal Detectives.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, awesome, man. Well, and this will be a nice bonus because we have the pleasure of you being our first collab, working with Maryam out at the Suicide Bridge there in Pasadena. So fantastic episode, both for y'all and for us. Great investigation.
And it was a fantastic evening. We went in with sort of our mindsets of working with mediums, and Maryam just changed our direction and the way we see mediums and the way we look forward to working with her and other mediums again. So it was amazing.
Well, and I'll let you and Darren chat some more about that, and looking forward to learning more about you.
Absolutely. Hey, all right, Stephen, thank you, bud. I appreciate you being here tonight. We can get to that investigation at the Suicide Bridge, but I'm sure a lot of viewers would like to know a little bit more about yourself, your team members. Yeah. So what is your background in the paranormal?
Well, so it all started, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, which is, if everyone knows the paranormal, they know Sloss Furnace is in Birmingham, Alabama.
Rick and I have been there.
Every kid that knows Sloss Furnace knows where that hole in the fence in the back is. There's a path to it. Everybody goes there. I mean, from probably 13, 14, I'm climbing through the fence, and me and my buddies just wandering Sloss Furnace. We would go sit and listen, and we just hear so many voices, and we'd go check them out, and we'd bring tape recorders and leave them overnight and go back and swear we heard stuff. And always, it made me feel at home. I almost never wanted to leave Sloss. And also all around Alabama, there's thousands of these old asylums and old, abandoned barns and stuff. And before Urbex was a thing or investigations hit, before there was a Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, it was all just sort of exploring and being scared, and just doing that with best friends constantly. And that's what got me in, is just that desire to be scared, sort of in. Everybody's always so badass and says, I'm not scared. Oh, I'm so scared. And I love it.
Actually,
I love
that. I got scared of that place too. I mean, not to go in a different direction, but normally nothing like that happens. But there was two things. We were in the tunnel area where I guess the rail cars were above, footsteps, somebody, whatever, was going up the stairs. Clearly could hear that. And that's the only place I've actually seen an orb with my eyes. I watched it. We were up on kind of the catwalk or whatever area and saw it, and it just kind of went into the wall and disappeared. That's the only time in 20 years.
I followed a friend down that whole bottom area and got there, and then he paged me to let me know he had just parked, because I thought he was already there, and I was following him down. That's how long ago it was. He paged me.
Wow. Yes, exactly right. I think I had a pager back then too. Wow. Okay, so if you grew up in Alabama, how did you form your team? Where'd you get your partners from?
Well, my team now is Brian, who I guess is my main tech and kind of he builds a lot of our stuff. He's a genius. He's a special effects artist. I mean, he got in the business during Evil Dead 2, and he's been on everything since then. So he's
very nice.
He's special effects royalty. He's amazing. He was my boss during, I think when I first took him, we were working on Stranger Things season 1.
Nice.
And when you're sitting at a table working on stuff, you just ramble ghosts, and people usually put their headphones in when they're next to me, because I'm always talking about, Bigfoot can actually teleport, and people are just, okay. But Brian was into it, and then Brian kind of opens up to me that he's always had experiences, and he's always gone to graveyards by himself and tried to discover things himself. He said he grew up with a friend with a haunted house that they would see things moved. He had
Wow.
alien abduction experiences as a kid. And
Whoa.
at the time, a lot of times finding paranormal groups is just, you find a group that's going to a place and you kind of hop on to just get in Preston Castle or something.
Uh-huh.
And I met Boom through a group, I think it was South Bay Paranormal. Boom's
Okay.
our third. And then I met Boom again through another Spirit Paranormal with another guy. And it was just, I've seen this guy pop up a couple times and he's
Right.
pretty serious. And a group formed called LA Ghost Researchers, and they were all people I'd seen, from the community, and they seemed like they were trying to up their game, and they got me in, and I brought Brian in, and then it was like most groups do, though. They investigate, and the most you'll see on Facebook was awesome night,
Right.
and then I bring Brian in, and two of the people move away, so it's just me, Brian, and Boom.
Right.
And the two people who moved away are the people who picked the name and sort of were kind of running the show. And I'm telling Brian and Boom, I'm like, guys, let's do it. We three take it serious. We three know our craft, I guess. I've been investigating since I was a teenager, and I'm in my 40s now. So
Right.
I've been everywhere, seen everything at this point. And we formed a group, and it wasn't originally to make our YouTube channel show, but it kind of got to the point of let's film everything. So if any devices go off, we've got it on camera. Let's film while we spirit box so we can review that audio. And then it kind of got to like, what's the best way to just sort of show people our evidence? Because you look on YouTube and there's all these just, the camera starts on black light and it goes for an hour and it ends. And you're just sort of, that's not a show.
Yeah, it's not storytelling. You guys are telling a story. That's the one thing. I love the show. You know what I mean? You're taking the pieces of what you're experiencing and putting it into content that the viewer can enjoy. It's very professional, and you guys have fun. But I know when we were talking earlier, when you really get down to business when you're investigating,
and you have to be yourself, because who you're trying to contact with, the spirits, if someone's sad because they passed away because of a terrible thing in their life, you want a sad, serious mope to come in and talk to you? Or do you want some guys to come in and like, oh, these guys are kind of lightening the mood? I mean, as a spirit or as someone who's crossed over, this is a different energy than I'm used to. And I'm ready to like sort of get to know these guys and open up to them. And I feel like it helps by us going into situations relaxed, and keeping the paranormal serious, but keeping ourselves, don't take ourselves too serious. We're ghost hunting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And us as a group, we've always decided that was our way to go, because Boom is he's very so
stoic.
Serious.
Yes.
And he balances us, because Brian is silly and kind of quiet, and I'm just, retarded. I'm special needs. I'm just silly all the time, and but it helped. We have a good balance, and none of us are the same character, which I think keeps our show fun too.
Keeps it fresh. We talked about at the beginning that you went out with Maryam, did a collaboration at the Suicide Bridge in Pasadena on Colorado. That was it was a pretty serious subject. Obviously, it is. Suicide is terrible. When she was doing her walk, I really noticed that you were overcome with emotion from time to time. What was that experience like?
The same way you join us for fun, I think on that show you got to join us for sadness. I was formerly a professional wrestler, so my openings of my show are always this kind of like hit you in the face, tell you the story of the place, and tell you what's going on. This is the location. And for this one, I couldn't do it. I could not like hit my intense opening. I have these long pauses, and I'm just sort of like, guys, we can't do our normal format here, because this bridge, it brings you down, and we can't let it bring us down. And we got to be here to, be an open ear for people ready to talk to us. It was a tough night. and if you've seen the show, I saw something that just it still sticks out in my head.
Could you tell the viewers about that?
So it's near the end of the walk. Maryam is amazing. She does so good at what she does, and she opened our eyes to what a real good professional medium can be like. And I think by the end of the walk, she had helped kind of all of us accept our potential. So she's telling me, I don't remember the exact moment, she's talking with me, and I look to the side, and there's these hands holding the guardrail. And
Oh
as
my
I
God.
look, I'm able to see the hands. They went from white to red as they released. Almost I could see the blood. I mean, it's so detailed. I saw the hands let go and slide back. And I
Whoa.
even could see I know he was wearing a white shirt. And I remember saying he was a medium guy wearing an XL shirt. I could tell that much of his frame and the
Right.
shirt. And in my mind, we stumbled on a real suicide, and my heart sunk, and I'm getting a little caught up now. And I could not believe I saw it. And is that because Maryam had helped me open up a little bit, and I was exposed to energies I wasn't ready for, but
Right.
I can close my eyes and see those knuckles release.
Man,
Oh,
that's powerful.
it was amazing.
A place that I think is near and dear to the Hollywood Paranormal Detectives team is the Goldfield Hotel in Goldfield, Nevada. You guys did a investigation there a little while ago. That's on my bucket list. I haven't been there yet. What's it like? You see it from the outside and you see the stuff inside. Just kind of take us through what that experience was like.
It's well, and sort of like telling you before is, you grow up going in haunted places, and you grow up going in kind of doing what is urbex now. And I remember someone giving me literally a VHS of that Ghost Adventures original documentary.
Right.
And I remember like, what, ghost hunting? I didn't even watch Ghost Hunters because someone told me it was fake before I even saw it. But someone gave me that VHS, and I watched that VHS just like when my jaw dropped. And two things. I remember feeling like I was standing next to them when the brick flew. You know what I mean? I felt like it pulled me in, and it made me go, I want to do what they're doing. I want to investigate. I don't want to just look around. I want to catch evidence. And ever since seeing that video, I was like, I want to stand in that exact spot and see a brick fly. And to go in the Goldfield, literally, I think it's on our episode that Boom follows me. I think I tell Brian, I go, follow me in, and I get to walk through the door frame, and I'm like a little kid on Christmas, just to stand.
Yes.
Yeah, just to stand where the brick was, and it was like, this is it. This is the spot.
That is I remember the first time I saw that too, and obviously Zach is a commercial success now. With his team. Back then, it was a documentary, so it was kind of raw, and you could see just how scared they were. I mean, I would have been terrified. Like I said, not a lot of things scare me, but to see that actually happen, that'd been really scary.
And like I enjoy the fear. Does that make sense? Everyone's always so cool, and you're like, oh, I'm not afraid. I go right into the dark. Like, but see, I go into a place and I go, this room is pitch dark. That's the scariest corner. It's like from the waist down goes on autopilot, and the waist up is Shaggy and Scooby. And I just, I'm going right into it. I go right into the scariest spot, or whatever I think of is like, what's the worst thing? That'd be to go in the basement by myself. I go, that's what I'm going to make myself do. Why? Why did I say that? But it's that Goldfield. I mean, it is, from working in the special effects world, it is such a perfect set of what you would imagine a massive haunted structure would look like. Like it is what it is. And it does not disappoint. The feeling in that place is it's different.
Well, you guys get
than
some
a
pretty
lot
good
of
evidence
places.
too. Well, you know, I know that you captured some EVPs and other things like that. It was a great investigation.
It was so much, and that's, you know, we probably investigated 8 hours. I think we had the location, and to get it down to about 50 minutes. And we did a lot off camera. That's something else we do. We turn the cameras off and we sort of ask the harder questions, you know, and see if we can get any experiences that you're not normally going to get, or that if the spirits are smart enough to know they're being filmed, you know, like turn off the cameras and now let's talk again.
Well, Rick, you want me to ask him the $64,000 question while he picked that location for tonight's remote viewing, or should I defer to you?
Well, before he answers that, let's at least give some shout outs. Because definitely have quite a few folks that have joined it. We got Irene and Whisper Soul, Michael Chin from Maryland Paranormal Research. Welcome. Got
Whisper Soul is our #1 fan. Thank you, Whisper Soul.
Woo! We got Deborah, Chantel, Colleen, Jessica, Jasmine, Wesley, Skeleton Crew Paranormal in the house.
Sweet.
Esmeralda, Jenny, Matt, Gary, Sherry. You know, I still keep. I say this every week. I seriously need to get a romper room type of little looking glass here, basically, so we can go old school as I'm reading off all these names. Who else we got here? Let's see. I think I've had Chantel, John, Sam. So many folks. I've tried to catch everybody in the chat because otherwise we'd be here for a while. Thanks everybody for joining in tonight. And yes, I think part of the reason that they've come here is because of this remote viewing. And so, yeah, we always have the question of, well, why in this case did you pick that special location there?
Well, it goes back to the Charman episode. We're in the Foster Bowl with a good friend of mine and special effects artist, Frank Ryberg. And he is 6'4", 400-pound, massive man that you would not expect to run. And we are in the Foster Bowl, a place where he went as a kid looking for the spirit of the Charman. And he says, "Are you watching us right now, Charman?" And through the spirit box, clear as day, it goes, "You got it." The second I say, "You got it," this massive Santa Claus superhuman of a friend of mine, he books it. And I have never seen anyone on an investigation just start hitting the bricks as fast as this guy did.
He was done.
He runs. And I go, "What is it, Frank? What is it, Frank?" And he goes running. And I go, "Watch the stairs, Frank." So cut to almost a year later. Me, Brian, boom, alone in the Goldfield Hotel. As I'm filming Brian, it's his turn, past the mic, past the spirit box. I'm backing up. As Brian says, "Watch the stairs, Steve." Spirit box says, "You got it." In the exact same way it said it in the Foster Bowl.
Whoa.
Almost, and we as a group were like, "That was Steve, that was your voice saying you got it," through our device. Like, and if you watch the video, I loop it. I think I looped it 4 times, and through the editing went back and made it 8 times. Because I was like, it is the same voice from Foster Bowl, California to Goldfield, Nevada, and the only connection is our team. So is there something connected to us? Is there something in the Goldfield that is that intelligent, that is wanting us to come back to the Goldfield? So this is where I ask you guys for help. Like, if Maryam can help us answer this question, if it wasn't me saying you got it, who was it? You know?
Well, that's a perfect transition.
Great segue.
So I'm going to get our B-roll here rolling, which is actually your episode there, and let's see what we got going on. Over to you, Maryam.
Okay. Stephen, do you have a someone in your life or someone in someone's life by the name of Jeff? Or maybe a Jeff that's passed on?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The only Jeff I know is a guy I work with that I haven't seen in a long time, so I don't think he
Um,
would connect.
when you were telling that story, that's what came up for me. So
Okay.
let me connect for a minute. Darren, I can't hear you, so I'm going to go
Oh,
through Rick, okay?
oh,
So if
okay.
I talk over you, it's just because I can't hear you. I'm gonna connect right now if you want to go ahead and we'll see what's going on.
Well, look at that. Just seeing this footage brings me back too. We
It's
stood
a
in front of that place, just staring, just like this
well,
is it.
well. You think about when they built it back in 1908. You had all those people that were coming there to look for gold, and so the people that owned the mines,
Was
when it
this
first
around in the
opened.
20s?
No, it was built in 1907, opened in 1908. Rick, I don't know if she can hear me or not.
Yeah, built in the early 1900s, opened in 1908,
Okay, so
and
19
the same location had a hotel that burned down before it was built too.
It's true. That's
Okay, so
exactly right.
1920s is what's the time frame that I'm working in right now. There's someone around you, Stephen, by the name of Jeff.
Oh wow!
And I don't know yet what his connection is. So let me just work on this for a minute. We're looking at the 1920s at this hotel.
I wonder when that whole thing when it happened with George Wingfield. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
I
that
don't
was
have it.
20s.
I pulled out my original Goldfield notes, and I don't have a date for the George Winfield Elizabeth situation.
It could have been around that time.
That's okay.
It could have been.
Okay, so there's two men in particular that are coming forward. They're definitely in like I might be getting my time frames kind of mixed up because they're in like kind of like that zoot suit, which I don't think was the 20s. But like really big suits, and they have like the big like chain.
Pocket watch.
And
Yeah, high-waisted pants, kind of a little vest.
Yeah. And then they're saying a lot of people. Okay, so there was a fire, right? Because I see that fire. They're telling me about these people there was a fire, but people died. Did they cover up the fact that people died? Did they not tell anyone that there was actually a lot of loss in that fire?
There's not a lot of evidence from the fire of the hotel that was on the land before. There's not a lot of record to
But
go
they did
on.
it. Wasn't there
So
a
a
fire
lot
there
of this
afterwards?
energy, a lot of these spirits are from that fire. There was actually a lot of people died in that fire.
Wow.
Really, really, and a lot of the energy that you, the spirits that you speak to, the spirits that are there are actually from prior to when the building burnt down. Before it was rebuilt, and then it was built on top of it's almost as if it was built on top of a cemetery, not because anyone was buried there, but there's almost like the way I'm hearing it. I'm not saying that I'm interpreting it correctly, but I'm hearing it almost as if they left the bodies there, like it maybe because I'm sorry to get so graphic, but like they were so burnt and like there was nothing left. And so they just they bulldozed, but then it's like there's remains there, basically, is what I'm being told.
Okay. That still haven't been discovered.
Well, ask that question again. What do you mean? Were the remains discovered?
The remains are still undiscovered. They haven't been found yet. They're still left there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're
spots.
Buried underneath. If there's anything left, it's underneath the structure now. I don't think they're accessible by any means. But they so these two guys are explaining to me that all these lives were lost. Nobody said anything. They didn't want anyone to know that this is how it happened. They didn't want to know it was negligence. They didn't want anyone to know it was negligent. That's why this burnt down. They didn't want anyone to know that they didn't remove the bodies, that they left it there. And so these spirits are so disgruntled and angry and unhappy that they are still there. And so right now, that's where the focus is, where I'm at. It doesn't mean that there aren't energies from other time frames, but that's where I'm starting from. And so there's this is what's, yeah, they're saying what's hard is that these people were there. It was so unexpected, so it caught everyone off guard. There was like a big party of some sorts that was happening, a big gathering. There, people were happy and joyful, and then this happened, and they all kind of huddled together. This is really awful. I really don't want to relive this, but they all huddled together and died together. So people are pissed, and these two gentlemen are interesting because they didn't die in that. They actually they have been, what are you here? Why are you guys here? You guys are here to, they didn't die in that, but they're just like, why are you here? I'm kind of confused on what they're doing. They are, hold on, let me see. They're trying to tell the story, but they weren't a part of this group. They're just a part of a separate group, but they want to tell the story. They think it's important that the story's told. So they kind of stick around and tell the story. There's this energy, Jeff, like I was saying, that's around you, that has been following you, that has been like tailing you. Like that's kind of the word that comes up, like tracking you. It's because I'm making it sound kind of like creepier than he means to be. He's not stalking you, but there's definitely this energy, and he keeps referring to himself by the name of Jeff, that's been following you and is around you. And he is saying he is the one that was speaking through the equipment that day. And tell me what you want from Steven. Why are you, I'm not sure that you being attached to him is the right thing to do. Yeah, I'm not sure that this is someone that you want around you, Steven. He doesn't have good intentions. He doesn't have your best intentions at heart. He's along for a ride, and he's giving not misleading evidence, but he's speaking through this equipment when others could be that actually do exist there. It's very real evidence, but it's not specific to that location because he keeps butting in. Does that make sense? So
he's almost following us. He's waiting for an opportunity. He's waiting for us to investigate so he can talk again, almost.
And Darren, I think I heard you for a minute there.
Oh, I just said that it's like
there you are.
It's like his shadow. I know
it is. So what's interesting is he tends to follow Steven, but he's following the group. He's really into following the group. And why am I okay, so the thing is, I don't really like this guy. I don't really like what I don't really think he should be around you guys. I'm not really a fan of him. I don't like, so he's got, God, this is going to sound nuts because I don't actually know anything about Bigfoot or anything about that. I don't know if it's true or not or anything, but he's affiliating himself with him somehow. And he's like this he's portraying himself as like, he's showing me himself as is he looks and behaves as this Bigfoot. I'm not saying I believe him. I'm not saying what he's doing is true, but he's portraying that for some reason. He's like this massive entity following you guys around.
Wow.
And I'm not really sure that I'm fond of you hanging out here. He says, I'm not going to hurt them. I don't know why you're butting in. That's part of the reason why I said I don't like him, like, because he's not okay with me getting in the middle and having this conversation. I'm butting in because I don't know. First off, I don't like what you're doing because it's interfering with their investigations. And if they're trying to speak with beings that are in certain locations, you're purposely interfering, and I don't like that. He says, I've only done it twice. Okay, so let's not do it again. How about that? How about we talk about why you aren't moving on, why you aren't transitioning to the next level? Why are you doing this? And why are you, don't affiliate yourself with something that you think. He's affiliating himself with Bigfoot because he thinks that's going to get you hooked in and intrigued by him.
Yeah.
You're lying about that. So I've already told him that you're lying about that. Okay. So, okay. So he's actually,
could we have picked him up as early as like when we did Bernardino, like a long time ago, not even at Foster Bowl? Could we have picked him up in the forest looking for Bigfoot? Or something like that.
He definitely latched on when you were at a location, and I can't get the location that you were at, but that's where that met. Like, you guys went to this location. He had been living there, and he found an out with you guys and followed you out. I'm sorry,
wow.
This is taking us completely out of the hotel. And this is kind of what he does, though. He takes over the conversation. He takes over what we're doing. So,
Can you tell what time period he's from? I just was you know what I mean? Where, how long he had been in the forest?
I don't. I'm not trusting his information, and he keeps portraying himself to look like Bigfoot, which is. There's no time frame that can tell. I mean, it's not like Bigfoot wore clothes that could tell me the era, right? I don't really know what era.
Is he trying to intimidate you by looking like a Bigfoot, sort of?
He could be. I mean, I didn't. Is that what you were doing? Because it didn't work. You said, yeah, I thought that it would work. It didn't work. I mean, it confused me. It was kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it would work on somebody else, but I don't. That doesn't work.
Hey, can I was going to say, we did get one of the questions from Jessica Humphrey. Said, Maryam, do you feel a darker energy there? We encountered it. I don't know if they're talking about San Bernardino out in the forest, or do you feel, are you picking up on anything like a darker energy?
Around this gentleman specifically?
I guess so. I'm just wondering about it's hard to tell where you guys went out and did something in San Bernardino out there in the forest. Is that right?
Yeah, that's where the only time we've gone Bigfoot hunting, and Foster Bowl, where my big friend Frank went running looking for Chartman. It's an old place that is very locked down and is known, not known to be haunted, but we were getting tons of evidence there. So maybe if he was a spirit that no one's even tried to talk to him before, we could have picked him up at the Foster Bowl. Does the Foster Bowl or Ojai trigger him, Maryam, at all?
The Foster Bowl more so than Ojai. He's not letting me in on where he's really now. He's kind of transitioning into like a little child. He's getting scared that I'm going to remove him. And so he's softening up because he's scared that I'm going to ask him to leave. I don't think it's for me to ask him. I mean, Steven, do you want me to remove him? It's up to you guys.
Until you said his name, I've never had any attachments or anything. I've never felt anything outside of an investigation. So he's not bothering me. But if he doesn't belong there, you can.
So here's what.
Get stepping.
this is what's fair. This is what I'm going to tell you. Jeff is the name I keep referring to. That's what we'll make a deal. I agree. He's not there to harm or hurt you guys. I agree. And I'm not feeling him attached in a way that's affecting anyone's life. He's just coming along for the ride. Whenever you guys, it's like, I'm seeing him, like, when you guys go to investigations, he's like right there, like just another dude walking along. I'm like, what are you doing? So because of that, because you're not hurting anyone, and because you just want to be involved, and because Steven is kind enough to allow you to be there, I'm okay with you being there, and he's okay with you being there. But what I am going to ask you is that you don't interfere with the investigation. So moving forward, we are going to trust that any sounds that come through are not going to be you. Now, if there's communication you want to do directly with Steven or myself or anyone else, you'll come through me and I'll send a message, or you can come through in Steven's dreams, or you can send him a message some other way, but you're not going to interfere anymore with the investigations. Is that fair?
Sure.
He says okay, but I'm not totally trusting that. So this is a great opportunity for you, Steven, because this is going to open up your intuition. It's going to force you to learn how to listen. It's going to force you to learn how to hear and feel, because every time you go on an investigation now, you're going to acknowledge his presence, just like anyone else would be there in the group. And you're going to ask him he can join along, but he's not to interfere. And then you're going to use your intuition to determine if he's interfering or not. And just so you know, Jeff, if you interfere, Steven's going to tell me, and I'm going to have you removed, okay, permanently. And I know you don't want that. And honestly, I don't think the guys want that. But we aren't going to put up with anything else. Is that fair? He says that's fair. Okay, so he wants to join me on this journey. You've taken a lot of attention off of this journey, which is what you do. So we're going to move away from him, and we're going to go back to this hotel. And Jeff, you can stand next to me. I'm not going to have you in front of me. I'm not going to have you behind me because I don't really trust you yet. I'm going to have you next to me, okay?
Did you feel him at all when you were with us on the suicide bridge?
No.
Okay.
But there was also so much going on there, like,
yeah,
you know,
it was crowded.
It was, and it doesn't mean he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Anything, Steven, you want me to ask before we start through the hotel?
Anything I want you to look for in the hotel, or ask Jeff?
Both. Actually, both. Anything more with Jeff before I close that door? He can follow next to me.
Well, I mean, does he want us to return to Foster Bowl? Is that the reason he came through in the Goldfield, if that was him?
He came through simply to have buddies to hang out with. That's all.
Okay.
He's just looking for friends. He doesn't want to move on. And he's not very good at having friends, because he'll be nice in the beginning and then he'll start to get a little kooky to get your attention. So we just have to really watch him, and you just have to really watch your investigations and make sure he doesn't interfere.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's head to the Goldfield and see what you feel.
Okay, so tell me, is there a specific room you want me to start in, a specific space?
I would say the room 109, Elizabeth's room, because that's where we saw a shadow figure. We caught that repeated information with my voice, whether it was Jeff or not. And that's sort of like that was our biggest emotionally feeling room.
Well, room 109, do I have a picture of that, Rick?
It might be cycling through it.
Yeah, you have random pictures. I don't know if there's specifically one of 109 though.
Is it the Goldfield Hotel basement, the black and white one?
No,
the basement is the cigar room and George Wingfield's room.
All right. Okay, so let me go to 109. What was her name?
Elizabeth.
Another Elizabeth. Isn't that the second Elizabeth? Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
What happened in that room?
Elizabeth
not good stuff.
Elizabeth fell in love with the owner of the Goldfield, George Wingfield. She became pregnant, and George said it wasn't his baby. And then she wouldn't. He kind of told her to get out of town, and when she wouldn't go, the story is he chained her up in that room until she gave birth.
Okay.
And when she gave birth, he threw his own baby down the mine shaft, and he killed Elizabeth.
What's his
And
name?
there was even a skeleton, George Wingfield.
Yep, there you go.
And when was this?
I don't have the date.
You know, I couldn't find any. I mean, it's a famous story, but I don't know what time. That's why I was wondering if it wasn't that 1920s that we were talking about
he's a real
earlier.
documented politician, even.
Oh no, he had a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what we got here. So these two guys keep coming back up. Every time I jump back into this hotel, these two guys that I described earlier are the ones that are there. They're the ones that are wanting to show me around, talk to me. They want to go back to the fire. When you were talking to me about Elizabeth, I don't feel her there. I don't feel him there. The voices and the sounds you're getting are from these people that were buried from the fire. It doesn't mean that these spirits may not come back, or maybe I'm not supposed to speak through them, but right now it's about these beings. So when you enter this hotel, when you walk into this hotel, when you go to your left, that's where the bulk of these bodies and spirits are.
There's like a ballroom that way, and if you walk in, there's stairs. 109 is to the right, and you go to the left room. There's a big ballroom and kind of the eating area, and what used to be the lobby.
Okay, hang on. What's the guy's name?
George Wingfield.
George Winfield?
Yeah.
Wingfield?
Yep.
Yeah. Stephen, you have a connection to him.
Yeah, I kind of talk some trash to him too, because being a parent.
No, you two were brothers. I don't know if you might have even been during then.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
You two, hang on. This guy's mad. Mad. He can't. He's here. He's pissed at you because okay. He's pissed because he doesn't like that you turned into a good guy. You turned into a wussy. You turned into someone who couldn't hold his own. He's talking trash. Okay, so he's pissed because you guys were brothers and you guys did a lot of crime together. You did a lot of really bad things together. It was more like you didn't kill people purposely, but you killed people that got in your way. You had robberies. You staged a lot that you weren't necessarily involved in, even though he is telling me that you two definitely went in and did some big time robberies yourselves. And that he's pissed at you because you came back through. And there was a lifetime in between that and now this lifetime where you cleaned up your act a lot. He hasn't cleaned up his act. That's the problem. He hasn't cleaned up his act. He's saying that you were there when he did this to this woman and that this was just something you guys agreed on. And he's pissed that you've been. Did you say you guys spoke? Because he's mad at you. He's saying that you're a what's that word? You talk out of both sides of your mouth. Oh. Yeah, because you come in and yell at him now when you were you did that with him. You were there with him. You had no problem with you doing it then. So how do you get off getting mad at me now? How do you get off coming in all goody two shoes? Now you have a family and you know better, and you have the nerve to come in and get. Okay, hold on, we're getting riled up.
Yeah.
So okay. Oh my God, Stephen, you got Bigfoot over here. You got this guy over here. Okay, so Jeff, I'm going to call him Jeff, not Bigfoot, even though I really want to call him Bigfoot. He's like,
sick Jeff on George Wingfield.
He just said, do you need me to get involved? And I'm like, no, I got to keep this light filled. I don't want the karma. You stay put. Okay, so George, you have an opportunity to make amends with Stephen right now. Tell me what we can do, because you got to move on. You've got to let this go. You're really hanging on to being the bad guy because you're viewing it as so cool, and it's breaking your spirit. It's not working for you anymore. Stephen is full of life now. He's full of love, and he's got so much, and that's making you angry. I understand, but you can't. No, we're not finding forgiveness today. All right, well, that's all. We're
Well,
not
that was
we're,
sort
we're
of
not going to
my
forgive and forget today. Okay.
the way I approached him there was that I'm a father, and to do what he did, he missed out on so much to get to know a child or to get to be a father, and for him to take a wrong direction. He doesn't even know what he regrets, but he's done something so terrible that he missed out on what life really is, and now he's got to suffer for it.
No, he's saying, correction, you were there with me, so how come you're not suffering the way I am?
Because I guess I've made peace.
Okay.
Wow.
He made different choices. And he wanted to do better, and I'm not understanding why you're just so angry and you're not wanting to do better. I can't let that go. I'm scared to let that go. I just can't. Okay, well, when you're ready, I'm actually going to have you reach out to Stephen. You can do it through me or go to Stephen directly, because Stephen's going to be the one that's going to help you find this peace and help you move on, okay? I think that you're closer and ready, more ready to move on than you think. I think right now you're putting up a big show. I know that he misses you, Stephen.
Wow.
He didn't want, when you guys died, he wanted you, is kind of like, to be together forever. You guys had this really incredible bond, and that's where the anger's coming from, he's saying, because he was so hurt when you both passed.
Wow.
Hold on. Okay, I got these. Both of these guys are moving in too close. Okay, I need you guys both to back off. Move back. Just get out of my space for a minute. We can communicate. Just get out of my space. Get out, or I'll have you removed. Just pick one. You can move yourself, or I'll have you removed.
Wow.
Yeah, yes. Jeff, you're just really invasive. Like, knock it
And
off.
you know what? I've been, like I've told you before, Maryam, on the bridge. I've been told I have this bright aura that keeps things at a distance from me. And maybe now that you're stepping into my zone, kind of, that someone that doesn't repel, they're trying to get close to you and sort of get something off their chest, because someone they can talk to, since I keep everything so far.
Yeah, well, I also invited them in for the show, so there's
Okay.
that.
Wow.
But they exactly. I mean, you're right. They can communicate with me because I've invited them in. But there's a difference between, it's like talking to someone over the phone and then you hang up and they show up at your door and you're like, I didn't agree to you coming in my house. I agreed to a phone conversation. You know what I mean? And that's where this was going. They were moving in closer and closer and closer. So anyway, this guy, poor George, his heart's broken. You guys, he feels like your souls went separate ways, and he thought that when you guys died that your souls would be together and you would continue on together, and you didn't. And he just, that's where he's at. Okay. And Stephen has made amends on the horrible things he's done, and he has chosen to change. And when you're ready to do that, George, that's there for you. Okay.
Wow.
Anything else with him? Otherwise, I'm going to ask him to go.
I had a quick question, not so much maybe about him, but what about the poor child that was thrown down the mine shaft? I'm not sure, with an infant, do they move on automatically, or could that poor baby still be there in the hotel? I know they've heard sounds of crying in areas of the hotel.
It's not that baby. That baby left its body. It's not that baby.
The mine shaft that the baby was thrown down is quite far from room 109, so it would have had to have been carried, through the hotel to get to the spot.
The crying is actually a lot of the noises and sounds are from these people that died in the fire.
Do you feel anything from the cowboys on the third floor?
Mm.
If you saw the show, I try to do a lot of experiments to relive things that happened in the past. I call them out with a showdown. I had a pop gun and with blanks, and I called the cowboy out to draw. And I think we got him on camera too. We got, some amazing kind of, a wall should be straight lined, and that wall doesn't stay straight. There's definitely movement from the shadows from the edge of that wall on the third floor.
Yeah. Yes. What you experienced. Yes, those energies though are very playful, very light filled. They're I don't think what you were experiencing wasn't anything dark.
Yeah.
But they're saying yes, beings were actually there. Like you actually did experience that did happen. But they're like these passing through beings that aren't gonna. Like passing through and passing on, and moving on. These aren't beings that stay there. It was like this. It's the got it. You are really good at pulling the spirit out and then allowing it to move on. And so which you've done this multiple times, they're saying, is you go into these locations and you pull these beings out, and then you're able to, because your heart is so full and you have this love and compassion combined with this lightness, it brings these spirits out from an otherwise kind of scary, dark place and frees them. And that's what was happening on that floor. That's why I can't communicate with those beings that you're referencing on the third floor. They've moved on, They're gone. But they were showing me how you were able to like draw them out and then release them.
So by me coming back and having a showdown with them again and showing them what life was like, I helped them.
Yes, those beings will never be there again.
Hey, real quick, I had a question. I know we're going to get up against the clock here. Stephen, you probably would like to know too. Who threw the brick that many years ago? There's a poltergeist, some type of activity inside. They're very famous. We were chatting about it earlier. Maryam, is there anything you can pick up on who maybe have thrown this brick at some other investigators years ago?
George knows. He won't tell me.
Well, that's what we did. We went down there. We put chimes, like music chimes, because Boom's a drummer. He put some chimes from his drum kit, so if they can throw a brick, they can touch some chimes. We put a brick in the exact spot. We even copied the same camera angle and got the brick right in the same frame. And we even asked the question, was the brick thrown? Was it fake? Which is a possibility. Only people know were the people in that basement, but maybe you can get us some more answers.
It feels like it really happened, that it was real.
Wow.
And a lot of it is because there's so many spirits that are there from that fire. I'm seeing like a lightning bolt of energy that actually exists down there. That's just a combination of, it's like all these spirits, they get pissed off enough and they can move things. It very much is real.
Wow. We just got a few minutes left, so I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on wrapping things up. But ultimately, Stephen, thoughts?
So I got to go back to Foster Bowl and talk to Jeff. I got to go back to Goldfield and, let George know we're not brothers. I got to return to some places. And it feels good knowing that my goal is like what you said, is to not approach things from a dark place, because that's, if you're already on the other side, it's already so dark. So if a person approaches you like a normal person, hopefully that helps people communicate. Wow, it's really helped. I think, guys, we're all going back to Goldfield.
Yeah,
I'm down. Let's do it.
So,
Road trip.
one last little question there, basically, while we have a couple of minutes. Poltergeist type energy.
I think that would be fair to say, although, like, it's like in this situation, it's a lot of spirits that aren't meaning harm. They're just mad. But when they put all that energy together, because someone comes in their space and that someone isn't there to help them, they can move things, but they're not meaning harm. Like, we should do another show so we can go in and really help them and just focus on helping them move on and talk about what they've experienced and release them all from that space.
Wow.
Thank you for asking that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of like what's important about all of this is, like, you know, with any investigation, I mean, well, and even what was experienced at the bridge, it's like you can go there and sure, you can collect evidence all day long, but if you have an opportunity to actually help someone, basically, then that's where it's actually, that's key.
Yeah.
Cool.
Add that to our notebook of people we need to help pass over. It's starting to get a little big.
So what happens to Jeff now? I might have missed it earlier. Where does poor Jeff go?
That's a good question. I got to deal with him. He's still standing next to me. If I let him, he'll just hang out. And so I got to deal with him.
I popped in earlier. It's good we had a couple minutes like this. I don't know why I thought of this, but for some reason Jeff kind of reminded me of George Costanza from Seinfeld. I don't know.
It's an investigation about nothing.
I was just like, you know, sorry, Jeff. I hope you could appreciate the comparison there. George is a great guy, but I mean, you know.
The whole
Just a
Bigfoot
random
thing.
ghost.
Kind of
Hey, you guys are ghosts. I'm gonna follow you guys around. You guys seem pretty cool. Like, all right, Jeff, go away. I'm trying to talk here.
Only he looks like he shows himself as Bigfoot. That's how he's showing himself to me.
I mean, like an
like
8-foot
Bigfoot.
type Bigfoot. I mean, like the whole.
No, like the big, any picture of Bigfoot you've ever seen. That's how he's showing himself.
Well,
there we go.
Is this is this accurate?
I don't know
carving.
why he's doing that.
Wow.
This is from Willow Creek. Real Bigfoot.
Oh wow, infamous.
I think he's doing it because he's just a little scared boy, and he's like trying to be like, look how scary I am. I'm mean, and it's like, no, you're not.
Is he young?
He's not. He's just, God, he's lost. Like, that's another show in itself, like dealing with him. And like, he's a lot of work. He's harmless. He's just a lot of work.
Rick, can we book Jeff for a future episode?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think we have a slot. We have a slot in August. I think we can work him in. I think.
You know, we can kind of pitch you in. You know,
Right.
boom.
Yeah.
I'll just sit this here and walk away.
That'll be the interview the whole entire time. Okay, hey, so Stephen, how can folks find Hollywood Paranormal Detectives?
Well, we have every social media platform you can think of. We're on it. We got, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. There's a Palmer. We have a TikTok. We got it all. So if you go to our YouTube page, subscribe so you can get all the updates we do. We try to we do quality over quantity. I try to do good, solid investigations, and if it takes time, I'll take the time rather than try to just keep posting. And all our social media you can find from our YouTube page, so it's all linked through that.
Awesome. Well, Guy, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's good to actually finally meet you, virtually,
Yes.
And we appreciate your time tonight. Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll want to chat with you after the show. But guys, everywhere, thanks so much for joining us for tonight's episode. See ya.
Thank you.